Okay, we are now learning Daf Hey in Masechet Megillah. We're starting from the first line on the top. Amar Rav, Megillah bizmana, kohen אותה אפילו ביחיד. When Megillah is read in the right time, bizmana, which means on the 14th, we can read it by ourselves. We don't need to read it in a minyan. Why? Since everybody is reading it that day, so there's enough persume nisa. There's enough expression of the miracle, so we don't need to be everybody together. It's enough that one person read it by himself in his room. Okay? That's going to Rav. But Shaloi Bizmana, if it's not in its time, if we read on Yud Aleph, you basically Yud Gimel, we don't read on Yud Daled, we need to read it Be'asava, you need to read it in a minyan. That way there's Pirsumi Nisa. Okay? That's according to Rav. So again, according to Rav, Bizmana, we read it by ourselves. Lo Bizmana, we read it with a minyan. Ravasi, he doesn't care. Ravasi Amar, Ben Bizmana, Ben Shaloi Bizmana, Basava. We always read in a minyan. There's no distinguishment between by ourselves or on time or not on time. We always read Ba'asara. Says the Gemara, Have Uvda, there was a story. Uvda means an Aramaic story. Have Uvda v'chash le'rav lehod de Ravasi. A guy read the Megillah by himself, and Rav said to him, hey, maybe you should reread the Megillah in a minyan because maybe Ravasi is right and I was wrong. So we see that even Rav agreed with Ravasi, you should always be machmir to be in a minyan. Ask the Gemara, does Rav ever require a minyan? If Purim lands on Shabbos, Erev Shabbat, Zmanam. If Purim lands on Shabbos, Erev Shabbos is the time is the right time. Ask the Gemara, what do you mean? Erev Shabbat Zmanam. Well, Shabbos Zmanam. It's like telling somebody, if your birthday's on Shabbos, then your birthday's on Friday. But no, if my birthday's on Shabbos, my birthday's on Shabbos. Why is the Mishnah saying, why is the Brisa saying that why is Rav saying that if Purim's on Shabbos, then we do Purim on Friday? No, we don't. Purim's on Shabbos. What did he mean to say? Says the Gemara, El alav, to teach you like this. This is what he meant to say. Shelo bizmanam, kizmanam. When it's not the right time to read the Megillah, as in Friday, because Purim was on Shabbos, it's as if, kizmanam, it's as if you read it on Shabbos. What does that mean? So that means that they have the same halachas. Just like if it's on the right time, right? Which means if we were to read on Shabbos, we don't read on Shabbos, but if we were to read on Shabbos, then we would do it afilu biyachid by ourselves. We wouldn't need a minyan. Also, also without a minyan, I don't need. Also when it's not the right time, I don't need a minyan. So what do we see? That Rav holds that we never ever need a minyan. Yes, says the Gemara. If we're dealing with Mikra Megillah, we always need Ba'asara. Rav always says we need 10. Ella, my Erev Shabbos Mana. What is he coming to say when he says that when Purim lands on Shabbos we read on Friday? What is he coming to say? Le'apuke, apuke in Aramaic means to extract. Le'apuke means the Rebbe. He wants to extract Rebbe's opinion. What does Rebbe hold? The Amar. Ho'il v'nitcho ayarot v'mkoman yidachu le'maknisa. Rebbe holds that if Purim lands on Shabbos, then that means Yud Daled is on Shabbos. So instead of reading the Megillah on Friday, we're going to move it all the way back to Thursday to Yom HaKnisa. Since it's anyways being moved, right? Ho'il v'nitcho ayarot, because they're being moved from their place, we may as well move it all the way back to Thursday. We don't read it on Friday. So Rebbe holds that if Purim lands on Friday, on Shabbos, we read it on Thursday. That's what Rav meant. And Rav said that if Purim's on Shabbos, we read it on Friday, he's going to teach you not to follow Rebbe. Okay, Rav is telling you not to follow Rebbe. Says the Mishnah, what is the definition of a city? We said that an open city reads on the 14th. What's a city? What's the definition of a city? How do we define a city halachically? Says the Mishnah, any city that has 10 batlanim. What are batlanim? The Gemara will explain people that don't work and say and learn Torah all day. That's a batlan, avrechs. 10 avrechs it has the halachic definition of a city because then you have Talmid Chachams to read through the Megillah. Pachot mikan. If you don't have 10 Talmid Chachams, 10 Batlanim in the city, Hariz Kfar, it becomes a village where we can read on Mondays and Thursdays. Only in regards to Purim did they say that we can go back, but we can't go forward. We can read Yud Aleph, we can go back to Yud Aleph, but we can't go past Tetvav. Right? Aval Zmanatei Kohanim, Tisha B'Av, Chagiga, V'Hakel Ma'acharim V'Lo Makdimin. What does this mean? So Atze Kohanim is a chag that they did the olden days. In the Gemara Masechet Tanis brings the story that there were rich families that donated a lot of trees. So every family would have its own day, its own holiday, where it would bring a sacrifice for the Beis Hamikdash of trees. The Gemara Menachos says that you can bring a sacrifice out of trees as well, by the way. So they would have a special date every year where they would make a holiday out of this, out of the fact that they are supporting the Beis Hamikdash. That's so you can't be mocked. You can't bring the date earlier. Tisha B'av, you can't bring Tisha B'av earlier. Chagiga, what is Chagiga? So every Chag, a Sukkot, Pesach, and Shavuos, you have to bring a Korban Chagiga. Every Chag, there's a Chiyuv to bring a Korban, and the Korban is called a Korban Chagiga. To bring it as a sacrifice to the Beis Hamikdash. So that's called Chagiga. And Hakel, Rashi says, is a mitzvah. It's a mitzvah to that the king, once every 8 years, on the end of Sukkot, he reads the book of Devarim in front of the Jews. He recites the book of Devarim in front of the Jews once every 8 years. So that we can't push earlier. So again, the Mishnah is saying, Megillah we can bring earlier, right? Then Yudalav and Tetvav. But these 4 things, the Atze Kohanim, Tisha B'av, Chagiga, and Hakel, me'achrin v'lo makdimin. We can push them off later, but we can never bring them earlier. So the opposite of Megillah. Megillah we do earlier, not later. These 4 we can do later, but not earlier. Says the Mishnah. Even though we said that we can go earlier, not later, so the Tosfos Rid says not to be gores matnas evyonim, but the idea is that we can do hesped. What is hesped? Hesped means that when we cry over the dead. Tainis means to fast. The tainis is the fast. We're allowed to fast and do hespeds, cry over the dead, during Yud Aleph, Yud Beis, and Yud Gimel. Obviously, Yud Daled and Tetvav we can't. But Yud Aleph, Yud Beis, and Gimel, even though we can read the Megillah during those times, still it's not considered the legit Purim, so you'll have to do these 2 things. Amar Rabbi Yehuda, a Mosai, says Rabbi Yehuda, when do we read earlier? When do we read 11, 12, and 13? Says Rabbi Yehuda, Makom shenichasim b'shem chamishi, in a place where the villagers go every Monday and Thursday to the city for judgment. Avar makom shenichasim lo b'sheni lo b'chamishi, en kolim ta'ala b'zmana. If they don't visit the city on Mondays and Thursdays, they only read on Yud Daled. Says the Gemara, Tanya, Asova batlonin. What does that mean, batlonin? Says the Gemara, shebebeit hakneset, people that are in the shul all day, that learn Torah all day. Okay, next piece. Ask the Gemara, my timer. Why can't we read the Megillah past the 15th? Why not? What's this weird halacha? Why can't we read on the 16th, on the 17th? Why not? Amar Rababa, Amar Shmuel. It says in the verse, Amar Kro, v'lo ya'avo. It says in the pasuk, lo ya'avo. You can't read past these times. Amar Rababa, Amar Shmuel. Never going to say, the Gemara is going to say a lot of quotes in the name of Rabba Abba, but Amar Shmuel. Amar Rababa, Amar Shmuel. Amar Kro, v'lo ya'avo. Sorry, Amar Rababa, Amar Shmuel. Minayin she'en molim yomim l'shanim. She'nemar l'chodshei hashana. It says in the verse that, okay, so what's the halacha, guys? If somebody takes a neder, he says, I take a neder, I don't want to drink wine for an entire year. And let's say that a year, so today's is Rosh Chodesh Adar, for example. This time next year, right, will be an exact year. So by this time next year, I'll be allowed to drink wine. I said I want to drink wine for an entire year. Next year, 2024, Rosh Chodesh Adar, I'm going to be able to read, I'll be allowed to drink wine. But maybe, how many days do we have in a year? 365. What if by next year, Rosh Chodesh Adar, there hasn't been 365 days? What if there's been only 359 days? Because we know that sometimes we lessen the months. We do months that are 29 days, some 30 days, whatever. What if it's only been 359 days? So we'll have to wait 6 more days till I reach 365? Or is a year a year? What makes a year a year? The days, 365, or the months, 12 months? Says the Gemara, we go after the months, we don't go after the days. Why? It says in the verse, lechodshei hashana. Chadoshim atamoed l'shanim, v'atamoed yomim l'shanim. Okay, another piece. V'rabbanan v'kizari, b'shum rabba be'ama amru, minayin she'en mechashvin shoyt l'chadoshim. What's the source that we don't count hours in a month? If I tell my wife, for example, that I want to give her a get if I don't arrive at this certain destination, okay, in a month of time, okay? What if a whole month, hours-wise, passed, but still the month hasn't finished, okay? Let's say. So do I count the hours or do I count after the days? Says the Mishnah, says the Gemara, we count after the days. We don't care about the hours, okay? The hours do not affect the way we count. Only the days affect the way we count. Why? It says in the verse that a month full of days. So we see that the Torah recognizes days. Alright, next piece. Says the Gemara, Tisha B'Av. Why can't we bring Tisha B'Av earlier? Right? We said that all these four things we can't bring them earlier. The Gemara is going to explain each and every one. Tisha B'Av. Why can't we bring Tisha B'Av earlier? Why can't we do Tisha B'Av on the 8th or on the 7th or on the 6th? Why dafka on the 9th? Says the Gemara, we don't want to ever bring a poranut. A poranut means a bad day, a sad day. We don't ever want to bring a sad day earlier. We always want to push it off. We don't want to bring it earlier. That's why we don't bring Tisha B'Av earlier. Chagiga, right? The korban, again, I'm repeating what a chagiga is. It's very important you guys know what a chagiga is because it's going to be the whole daf here. Chagiga is the korban that we bring on Yom Tov. Okay? On we bring the korban chagiga, we bring it once for Pesach, once for Sukkot, once for Shavuos. There's a whole Masechet called Masechet Chagiga. So it's a big deal. So, Chagiga, why can we bring the Chagiga before Yom Tov? Says the Gemara, sorry, I skipped. Chagiga vehakel. Why can't we do Chagiga and Hakel where the king reads? Why can't we make it earlier? Says the Gemara, what do you want? Mishum dakati lematazman chiyube. Because the time hasn't come yet. It's like saying, why can't I be Shomer Shabbos on Friday? You can't be Shomer Shabbos on Friday because it's not Shabbat, because it's not Saturday. Only on Saturday are we Shomer Shabbos. Okay. Says now this is the brisa. We're going to have three explanations on the brisa. Says the brisa, Tana. Guys, focus on this. This is a little tricky. Tana, Chagiga v'chol zman Chagiga. Me'achrim. Says the brisa, Chagiga v'chol zman Chagiga, and the whole time of the Chagiga, we're me'achrim, push it off. Okay? We can push it off. We don't have to do it dafka at the time. We can do it later as well. Says the Gemara. So again, we have Chagiga and we have zman Chagiga, the time of Chagiga. Okay, so what's going on? What are we talking about? What is Chagiga? What is the time of Chagiga? Says the Gemara. Bishlem Chagiga. What does Chagiga mean? There's a halacha, guys, that a korban chagiga we can't offer on Shabbos, only on Yom Tov. So if, let's say, Sukkot lands on Shabbos, the first day of Sukkot lands on Shabbos, we don't offer the chagiga. We offer it later. Okay, we do it. We have up to 7 days. There's a halacha chagiga. The Gemara I believe says that even though you're supposed to bring the chagiga the day of the chag, you still have all of Chol HaMoed to bring the korban. So if you messed up and you bring the first day, you have Tashlumin, it's called. You have all those days to bring the korban. So if Yom Tov lands on Shabbos, we can push it off and bring the korban later. You have all of Chol HaMoed. So that's what it means, Chagiga. Yeah? Ela, says the Gemara, what is Zman Chagiga Maihi? What's Zman Chagiga? So we're going to have three pshatim in the Gemara. What's Zman Chagiga? Starting with the first one. First one is Rabbi Shaya. Amar Rabbi Shaya. Hachikama, this is what it means. Chagiga b'Shabbos. Chagiga that lands on Shabbos, we push it off, like we already explained. Ve'oilas re'iyah. What is an oilas re'iyah? Okay, guys. So there's a separate halacha that every Yom Tov, every regal, there's a halacha. It says in the verse in Mishpatim in multiple places in the Torah, V'lo yira'u panai rikam. You can't greet God in the regalim and not have a korban on you. You have to bring a korban to God. You have to give a korban to God. That korban is called olat re'iyah. The ola of the seeing, because God is telling you to come and see Him. So you're bringing the korban to see, in sake of His will to see you. Okay? That's how the Gemara explains it in Chagidah, based on the bottom. So that's what it means. When it says Zman Chagiga, it's referring to a separate sacrifice. Again, we have one sacrifice called Chagiga. We have another one called Olas Re'iyah. So the Zman Chagiga is referring to the Olas Re'iyah, that afilu b'Yom Tov, even on Yom Tov, yeah, the Zman Chagiga me'achrinan, we don't offer this ola, this korban ola, we don't offer it on Yom Tov, okay? Why? Why don't we offer the korban ola on Yom Tov? So there's a big machlokas in Masechet Beitz between Beishamai and Beisilal. There's a machlokas. It says in the verse that Yom Tov says lachem, for you. And what's a korban ola, guys? Korban ola is something that you sacrifice in the temple, and it all goes to God. You don't take anything out of it. It all goes to God. You burn the whole animal. The Mishnah Tzvachim clarifies literally everything outside of the skin. Skin goes to the Kohanim, but the rest goes to the altar. So it's not lachem. It's not for you. It's for God. So Beis Shammai say you can't offer the olas re'iyah on Yom Tov. Not allowed to, because it's got nothing to do with the system of lachem. Beis Hillel say you can. Okay. So Rabbi Shaya is saying the brisa that says Zman Chagiga, we push it off. What was that going like? Beis Shammai, because Beis Shammai say we don't offer the olas re'iyah on Yom Tov. So of course we're pushing it off. Says the Gemara, Mani. So I'm repeating now. I'm reading it inside. Mani. Who is the person that holds that if an olas re'iyah, we never offer an olas re'iyah on Yom Tov. Beishamahi. The Tznan says the Mishnah. Beisham Amrim Mevi'in Shlamim b'Yom Tov ve'en somchin alim. Aval lo olot. We never bring an olah on Yom Tov. Or Beisil Amrim. Beisil will say Mevi'in Shlamim ve'olot v'somchin aliyim. Beisil will say you can bring olas re'iyah on Yom Tov. So the first answer is that the Mishnah, the Bryce is Beishamai. Second answer, guys, Rava. Rav Amar Chagiga. When it says Chagiga, what does that mean? Kol zman Chagiga me'achrin feiloi. It's going to teach you that when you bring the korban Chagiga, I remember we said it earlier that you have seven days to bring the korban. You have only Chol HaMoed. Past Chol HaMoed, you can't bring the korban anymore. You missed your time. That's it. You only have during the Chol HaMoed. Okay, what's his source? It says the Mishnah. Chogeg means he can bring the Chagiga, the sacrifice, but if you missed it, you missed the entire Chag, and you didn't bring the Korban Chagiga, that's he missed it. Third explanation, Ravashi Amar Chagigo, b'chol zman Chagigo me'acharim, we push it off. What does Atzeres means Shavuos, guys? So we know that Sukkot and Pesach have 8 days and 7 days each, the Chag, right? On Shavuos, how many days do we have? We only have 1 day, right? Day of. But what the rest of the days, there's no Chol HaMoed. Says the Gemara, big Chiddush. Even though there's only 1 day of Yom Tov on Shavuos, we still have 6 days of quasi Chol HaMoed for the Chagiga's sake to bring the Korban. So when people tell you there's no Chol HaMoed on Shavuos, it's not exactly true. There is a form of Chol HaMoed in regards to Kachim. You can bring the Korban Chagiga 7 days, 6 days after the Yom Tov, okay? And that's what the price is going to teach you, that you can push, even on Shavuos when there's no Chol HaMoed, you still have that 6 day time zone. What's his source? It's not, it says the Mishnah. Modim means that both Beishamai and Beisil that disagreed earlier agree here. She'im Chalat Tzed B'Shabbat, if Shavuos lands on Shabbos, right? You can't bring a Chagiga on Shabbos, like we said earlier. Sheyom Tavuach Achar Shabbos, that the Yom Tavuach, what is Tavuach? Tavuach means to do Shchita. Tvicha means Shchita, slaughtering, okay? The Yom Tavuach Achar Shabbos, we do Tvicha after Shabbos, which is mean on Sunday. Okay, now we're going to bring a very cool Gemara. We're going to see, Rabbi Lazar is going to bring us incidents that Rebbe did, 3 things that Rebbe did, and we're gonna go back and forth on our base. Amar Rabbi Lazar, Amar Rabbi Chanina. Rebbe, Rav Nasi, the famous Rebbe, yeah, the superstar of Shas. He did 3 things that were very, 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 very weird. First thing, Natan et Purim. He put seeds. He planted seeds on Purim, so that's melacha, and we're gonna see soon that you're not allowed to do melacha on Purim. V'rachatz bekuruna shel tzipori, b'shivasar b'tamuz. He took a shower in public on a tremendous fast day, Shivasar B'Tammuz, in public, in the city of Tzipori. And what's the third thing he did? Ubikesh la'akor Tisha B'Av v'lo hodro. He wanted to be mevatel. He wanted to eliminate the whole idea of Tisha B'Av. He didn't like it. He was like, nah, not for me to fast. I want to get rid of this whole Tisha B'Av thing. And the rabbis did not allow this. Okay. This is Rabbi Elazar saying in the name of Rabbi Chanina. Rabbi Elazar is the one speaking. Said to Rabbi Lazar, Amar lefanav, Rabbi Abba Bar Zavda. Rabbi Abba Zavda said to Rabbi Lazar, Rebbe, lo kacha yamas. This isn't the story of Rebbe. You're not saying the story correctly. Ela Tisha B'Av shechalel b'Shabbat hava. Rebbe wanted to get rid of Tisha B'Av that lands on Shabbos. Why? V'dachinu lachar Shabbat. So what's the halacha, guys? Because Tisha B'Av lands on Shabbos, we do it on Sunday. Because Rebbe said, since we're anyways moving Tisha B'Av to Sunday, we may as well not do it at all, because we already lost the effect. The effect is Tisha B'Av, not Yud B'Av. And the rabbis didn't allow this. Said to him, Rabbi Lazar said to Rabbi Abba Bar Zavda, this pasuk, it's better to have a charusa and learn by yourself, because your charusa will always add to something that you missed. So any of those haters that learn by themselves all day, here's your Gemara that says you should have a charusa. Rebbe Heichi Notan asked the Gemara like this. Rebbe Heichi Notan Etiv Purim. How did Rebbe do melach on Purim and plant on Purim? V'otani Rabbi Yosef, Simcha u'mishte ve'yom tov. It says in the verse these 3 things: Simcha, Mishta, and Yom Tov. Now we're going to explain. Simcha. What does Simcha mean? Melamed sha'asurim behesped. You're not allowed to be maspid on Purim. You can't do any hespeds. Hespeds we already explained. Hespeds mean to cry over the dead. Mishte. What does mishte mean? Melamed shasu b'tanit. You're not allowed to fast on Purim. Because you get drunk. The Yom Tov. What is Yom Tov? Why is Purim called a Yom Tov? To teach you melamed she'asu be'asiyat melacha. Not allowed to do any melacha on Purim. It's like Shabbos. So how did Rebbe plant on Purim? You're not allowed to turn your phone on Purim. Not allowed to do anything on Purim. According to this Gemara right now. Yeah? Says the Gemara, Ela Rebbe was a bar arbe sachare. Rebbe was a person who reads the Megillah on the 14th. V'chinota, so when he planted, actually he was planting on the 15th. V'chamei. That's why, because he was a 14er, so doing on the 15th was okay for him, because it wasn't Purim for him. Ask the Gemara, wait, Eini, v'Rebbe b'Tveria have, v'Tveria mokavet chomam mimot Yoshaminun, havoi. Rebbe lived in Tiberias. Tiberias is a walled city, like we're going to see later on in the Yamud. So how did he read? Why are we calling him a 14er when really he's a 15er? Says the Gemara, Rebbe actually was in the 15th, and when he planted the what's called it? When he planted his things, he planted the crops. He planted them on the 14th, which that was allowed. Ask the Gemara, wait. Is it so obvious that Tiberias is a walled city? Chizkiah is a huge Talmid Chacham. Chizkiah would read the Megillah both on the 14th and the 15th. Why? Because he had a suffix whether it was walled from the time of Shabinun or not. Says the Gemara, what's the issue? For Chizkiah was a suffix, but for Rebbe, Rebbe, it was obvious for him that it's a walled city. That's what called a machlokas, guys. Everywhere in Shas we have machlokas. Chizkiah held it's a suffix. Rebbe held it wasn't a suffix. That's why Rebbe didn't care to work on the 14th, because for him it was obviously on the 15th. Ask the Gemara, wait. And even if it's obviously on the 15th, are you allowed to do malach on the 14th? Mishari, Baktiv Megillas Tainis, it says in the Megillas Tainis, it's a brisa. It's a very cool, got a very cool background, Megillas Tainis. It says in Megillah, it's all the days where we fast. It says in Megillah Tainis, you're not allowed to do hesped on the 14th or the 15th. So what do we see? That all the halachas, even if you're a person that reads Megillah on the 14th, you still have to respect the 15th and not do hesped. Or the opposite, if you're on the 15th, you have to respect the 14th. So we assume, just like hesped you can't do, also melacha you can't do it for all 2 days. So why did Rebbe do melacha on the 14th? So what if he doesn't have to read on the 14th? He still has to respect the melacha part. Answers Rava, Amar Rove. Sorry, wait, there's part of the question. We're still a part of the. I stopped early. So we see that each day receives the other day's chumras. Says the Gemara, no. Hani mile, these chumras, hani behesped ubetainis, only in regards to fasting and hespeds. Aval melacha yom echad v'tuloi. Melacha is only 1 day and not 2 days. So you can do melacha the other day. That's why Rebbe did melacha on the other day. Ask the Gemara, wait, Rav saw this person that planted kitna. Kitna is pishtan. Is how you say pishtan? Pishtan. Silk, I believe. Google it. Pishtan. He saw this guy planting pishtan on Purim. Puria means Purim. Latye means he cursed the person for planting something on Purim. And what happened? And the plant did not grow. So we see that Rebbe himself, who was planting on Purim, cursed somebody for planting on Purim. So now everything's all confusing. Answer the Gemara. Hosam bar Yumi have. That was because the guy was planting on Purim Mamish. And Rebbe planted the other day, not on Purim. Okay, so now we have a new answer for everything. Even if you want to say that Rebbe did this on the day of Purim, the Jews, even though the intentions of Mordechai when he wrote the Megillah was to tell the Jews not to do also melacha on Purim, the Jews didn't accept this. The Jews didn't want to do this. They said it was too hard for them not to do melacha on Purim. What's my source? So look says the Gemara. It says in the beginning, Simcha umishte v'yom tov. Yeah, it says in the beginning of the verse, Simcha umishte v'yom tov. And it says later on it says in the Megillah, Urevasot ktiv la'asot otam. When they actually made the Megillah, the Chag, what did they do? They made it Yemei Mishta v'Simcha. That's it. Mishta doesn't say, no mention of Yom Tov. Yom Tov Iksi. So we see that Lamaisa today, guys, you're allowed to do Malacha on Purim because the Jews didn't accept it upon themselves. Okay? Otherwise, we wouldn't have been able to drive cars on Purim. We wouldn't have been able to turn on light on Purim. Ask the Gemara, so why did Rav curse that guy? The answer is the Gemara, because that guy, even though it's allowed, in the area of that guy, people took it on as a chumrah not to do Malacha on Purim. So instead, so the halacha is whenever you're in a place where people do our machmir halacha, you have to follow their ruling and submit to their chumras. And this guy didn't, so he got cursed. And now, so why didn't Rav be scared of people around him that they're also machmir? So the Gemara, v'Rav Uba'asam the Rebbe loy nahug. In place of Rebbe, people were not knowing this chumrah. Okay, second answer. Answer the Gemara. V'basim le'olam nahug. V'Rebbe netiya shel simchanata. Really, obviously, people in Rebbe's area as well didn't do Malacha on Purim chumrah. But you're allowed to do a netiya shel simcha. You're allowed to do a netiya. There's two kinds of netiyas. There's netiya. Netiya means to plant. There's two kinds of plantings. There's planting something that's for business oriented, right? And that's not allowed in Purim, according to the Machmir opinion. But you're allowed to do a netiya of simcha. Something that's going to bring you joy. What does that mean? How do you plant something that brings you joy? So look at this. It says the Mishnah in Titus. Kedetnan in the Mishnah. Tanan means Mishnah. Kedetnan and Matznisim mean Mishnah. Kedetnan. Avu eilu v'lo ne'anu. If we do a lot of fasting and God doesn't answer our prayers, what do? So we start taking upon ourselves a bunch of sadness. We start acting sad. What do? What are actions that make us sad? It says, we stop doing business. We stop building. We stop planting stuff. Elusin means engagements, and nisuin means marriage. We stop doing marriages and engagements and all that stuff. But it says in that brisa, what does it mean you're not allowed to build anymore? It says it, binyan shel simcha. Or netiya, what does it mean netiya? Netiya shel simcha. So you're allowed to obviously build during a time of sadness, because building doesn't bring you joy. But you're not allowed to build things that make you happy. Or you're not allowed to plant things that make you happy. Yeah. Yes. Says the Gemara, Ezu binyan shel simcha. What is a binyan of simcha? What's a thing that we build that makes us happy? Says the Gemara, Zeh boneh beit chatnut livno. Somebody who makes a chuppah for his son, prepares a chuppah for his son. That makes a father happy. You're not allowed to do that in a time of mourning. Okay? Ezu hin netiya shel simcha. Zeh notea abur nekish melachim. That's planting a tree of kings. It has a very nice shadow, and that's something that kings would do. So that's a netiya of simcha, and that's what Rebbe did. So Rebbe said, even though I'm not allowed to work in Purim, I want to do things that make me happy, because that's part of the simcha sachag. And that's what Rebbe did. Rebbe when he planted a tree of kings, which brings happiness to the person, which is why it's allowed in Purim. Even to those that are machmir and don't do malacha on Purim, they'll allow that. Gufa. Okay, now we're going to get into a different kind of sugya. So that's the Gemara. Gufa. Whenever the Gemara says the word gufa, it means we're starting to enter a new idea. Okay? That somebody said. Gufa. Chizkiah, yeah? The Amora. Chizkiah would read, he would read on the 14th and on the 15th. Why? He said, to ask the Gemara, wait, when we stop the mills of the Tiberias, is Tiberias really a suffix, whether it's considered whether it was walled times Yeshua or no? V'aksiv, it says in Sefer Yehoshua, Parakitat, ve'arei mivtzar hatzodim tsar mechemet reket b'kineret, and we know the word reket is referring to Tveria. So we see that it was walled from the times of Yeshua Binun, because it says, mentioned in Sefer Yehoshua that it was walled. Arei mivtzar, arei means cities that are mivtzar, that were walled. That's the Gemara. Because yes, it's walled, but it's walled. How's it walled? 3/4 are walled, and the 4th is walled by the water. The water is the wall. That's why he was questionable. So he didn't know whether it was considered really walled or not really walled. So ask the Gemara, Yochi, it's definitely not a wall. The ocean can't be considered a wall. Why? It says in the verse, the Tanya, Shel Lo Choma. Yeah, it says in the verse, Asher Choma, that Bater Choma, a house that there's different halachas in regards to whether a house was in a walled city or a house was in an open city in regards to buying and selling. If I sell to you a house that's in a walled city, then I only have 1 year to buy it back. Otherwise, I lose it. If it's an open city, I have more time. So what's a walled city in regards to Mekach Memkar? When we're dealing with buying and selling stuff, Asher lo choma, that it's totally walled. What does that mean? Velo shor igar saviv. Shor igar means that the houses themselves are the walls. You need to have an actual wall. Not that the houses themselves are walls, yeah, structurally. So what do we see? That it has to be literal walls. So obviously, part the Tveria, sheyama chomatat, the ocean is a choma. That's a Gemara. Leina batei choma lo mesafkele. Obviously, in regards to batei choma, which is halachas of babasra babasra erchim, halachas of buying and selling stuff. Obviously, that's different. That's its own idea. Okay. Ki mesafkele, the suffix of Chizkiah wasn't in regards to batei choma. Obviously, in regards to batei choma, it's not considered walled. The suffix was in regards to the Indian Mikra Megillah. Mai prozim uman mekofim. Dichtiv gabi Mikra Megillah. What is the definition of prozim and mekofim? Mishum dani miglu vani bani lemiglu. Is prozim mean open and not open? Vehanami migali, and this is also open, yeah, because Tachlas Tiberias is an open area on one side, so it's considered prozim. Or dilma mishum dani miglu vani lemiglu. Vehanami migani mishum. And also, Tiberias or is a definition of open and closed, not open as in fresh air, not open as in fresh air, as in protected and not protected. And if your city is surrounded 3/4 by a wall and 1/4 by water, it's still a very protected place, because attackers, invaders have to go through the water to reach you. It's much harder. So maybe Tiberias is considered a walled city. So that was his suffix. Rav Asi new sugya. Rav Asi called him Megillah Behutzel. Rav Asi read the Megillah in the city of Hutzel about Wisam Chamesar. Why would he read it on 14th and 15th? Mesafkeli im kavtzchon was Yishovinuni Iloi. Ikidama, we have a second girsa. Maravasi Hai Hutzel Beis Binyamin Mukavtzchon was Yishovinuni. And in Hutzel he would definitely read on the 15th, and it wasn't a suffix. That's it.